The story begins with a very important question for us all. If you went from your original world to another world, then how exactly would you live? As far as our hero is concerned, he knows that he would love to be with cute and curvy babes all the time. We now shift to his current life where the condition of his body is getting worse every day due to all the work he has to do. The worst part is that he doesn't even save any money, so he doesn't know what he's living for. Now, he waits at the train station and hopes for the last train to arrive on time. Our hero comments that he hasn't even been watching any anime recently, and as far as he knows, the parallel universe concept is still doing well. If he were to go to a parallel universe, then he would be a hero or an adventurer for sure, so that he could fight monsters and create harems of cute girls. All these thoughts lead him to wonder if he should just quit his job and enjoy life the way he wanted to. He suddenly wakes up as he had drifted away into a fantasy world and wonders if he has missed the final train. Luckily, he sees the train and boarded, although he's a bit surprised that it hasn't departed yet. As he enters, he is greeted by a cute and curvy girl who has the perfect nerdy look with glasses on. She greets him, and we learn that his name is Itsuki Shinomiya. Of course, our hero is a bit confused, so he asks the girl if she is doing cosplay. To his surprise, she reveals that she is actually a goddess, and from now on, he will be traveling to a parallel world. Now, Itsuki is not in the mood for games, so he thinks that this girl is playing a prank on him. He walks away, but the goddess asks him to wait, and then she snaps her fingers to show him she means business. Suddenly, a portal opens underneath Itsuki, and he begins to panic. So the goddess explains that he has passed away, which is why he will now be sent to a parallel world where he will get to live a second life. She also decides to give him something that will be of use to him in this new world, which is a god-level skill. The only thing on our hero's mind, though, is the fact that he has passed away. The goddess presents Itsuki with a variety of skills, and she offers him a choice from them. So he has to just move on with the fact that he is no longer alive. Our hero is actually excited to go to a new world, so he takes his time in choosing his skill. He does not want anything creepy, as that would keep the girls away from him. At the same time, even attack and combat skills are not so appealing to him. Itsuki would rather live a slow life, so he chooses a skill that surprises even the goddess. She tells him that he can choose a much better alternative, but he maintains that he would like to go ahead with this particular skill. The goddess can't say no to him, so she decides to send him to the first town and asks him to be careful. Suddenly, Itsuki is transported to the parallel world, but as he adjusts himself, we can see a giant insect monster right behind him. As expected, our hero runs away from the beast as fast as he can, and he curses the goddess for sending him not to a town, but a danger zone. Itsuki had wanted his new life to be a slow life, but that is clearly not the case as the bug monster closes in on him. Things get even worse as he trips on a stone and is ready to become bug lunch. Luckily for him, another man shows up and asks him to stay down. This man proceeds to slash the bug monster to bits, and then he asks Itsuki if he is all right. The man looks rather dashing, so Itsuki wonders where he popped up from all of a sudden. He thanks the sword man for saving his life, and then he learns that his name is Hayato. He explains that he is a drifter, just like Itsuki, but our hero gets a bit confused by this statement. Hayato explains that he too has been reincarnated into this world, and then a cute girl shows up to ask him if Itsuki is also one of them. After confirming that he and our hero from the same world, we get to see more members of Hayato's gang, and they all happen to be cute and curvy babes. Itsuki can see that Hayato is a man of culture, just like himself, and he even feels a bit jealous of him when he sees all these cute girls surrounding him as if he is their daddy. This might even be true, and it awakens all kinds of intrusive thoughts in our hero's head. Just like most other men, he too would love to have a harem of bombshell babes treating him like a god. Back to real life now, Hayato and his girls take Itsuki in their carriage and move towards the city. Our hero talks about his life in Japan, and it makes Hayato feel nostalgic because he too is from the same country. Hayato proceeds to ask Itsuki if he had acquired a unique skill from the goddess. Our hero says yes, but he also mentions that Hayato will be shocked to learn which skill he picked up for himself. This is when we find out that Itsuki has chosen the unique skill of invocation for pocket money. He proceeds to showcase his powers, and a coin suddenly appears in his hands. Naturally, Hayato is a bit confused by what he is seeing, so Itsuki explains that with his pocket money powers, he can earn a fixed amount of money once a day for the rest of his life. This actually sounds quite silly, but then Itsuki reveals that his pocket money limits will increase with his levels. In other words, he does not need to work to earn his living in this world. Even so, Hayato does not understand why our hero would choose such a basic skill to survive in a world filled with monsters. He proceeds to ask Itsuki what he plans to do moving forward, so he says that he himself has not decided that yet. He does reveal that the goddess gave him some additional skills such as alchemy and agriculture as well. As of now, Itsuki does not feel the need for adventurers or to subjugate any monsters. He will also stay away from gross things, such as the giant bug monster he just evaded. After hearing this, Hayato suggests going to a guild, and it makes Itsuki's eyes sparkle because that's exactly what happens in a parallel world. Hayato suggests increasing the alchemy skill if combat is something that our hero does not wish to pursue. This is not a bad idea at all, and then we see the group reaching the city. Now that he has arrived, Itsuki bids farewell to Hayato and his babes, after which he explores the city around him. As he passes the streets, Itsuki notices a couple of super cute girls in knight armor and comments that they are really pretty. This leads him to decide that he will use his skills to become rich, so that he can live a life where he will always be surrounded by such babes. Having said that, he also realizes that he is not in any kind of rush, and he will live his life slowly, without any kind of pressure. Now that his new life in another world has begun, Itsuki decides to eat some food first. He is treated to some skewered beef, and then he looks at the map Hayato gave him. It leads him to the Alchemy Guild as he enjoys the yummy food. But as he almost reaches the place, our hero can feel someone tugging at his shirt. He turns around and sees a cute kitty girl who seems like she is hungry and wants his meat. Of course, this girl is very young, so Itsuki wonders if she is someone's lost daughter. He asks her if she is fine, but then her tummy makes a noise, which means that she is really hungry. Now, our hero notices a collar on the girl's neck, which means that she is actually a slave girl. At this very moment, the girl's owner comes running in, and he says that Itsuki can't feed his slave without permission. He is actually shocked to see that this little girl is actually a slave because she is way too young for this. It's clear that when it comes to the people of this world, they not like us. Now, the slave owner reveals that he's actually a trader named Yasis, and he asks Itsuki if he would like to buy this catgirl. Of course, he says no right away, but he is sad to see that this innocent girl has to live such a sad life. He can't do much for now, but what he can do is distract Yasis long enough to hand over his food to the catgirl. Itsuki then runs away from the scene and tells the catgirl to eat her food fast before Yasis takes it away from her. It's a nice wholesome moment that shows our hero to be a nice man, even though he may get some intrusive thoughts every now and then when it comes to adult girls. Now, he finally reaches the Alchemy Guild and recalls what Hayato told him about making a guild card. It seems that these cards are extremely important for the people of this world. Itsuki keeps it in mind as he enters the guild. He does not see many people inside, so he calls out to someone and receives a response. It comes from an old lady who tells him not to shout because she can hear him loud and clear. She gives Itsuki a scary look and asks him what he wants from her. Our hero is a bit creeped out by this old lady, but he decides to tell her that he wishes to register at the Alchemy Guild. He also gives the reference of Hayato, which helps the old lady get some context. Now that she is familiar with Itsuki, she decides to give him a piece of paper. Our hero does not understand the significance of this, but he goes ahead with it anyway and takes the paper. To his shock and surprise, the old lady grabs his wrist as the paper burns in his hands, and then we see a symbol forming on the back of his palm. The paper has now turned into a guild card, and the old lady says that there will be no examination needed as of now, since Itsuki has only just started. Either way, our hero is extremely happy to have finally registered at the guild, and his magical journey begins now. The old lady reminds him that he has to pay her a fee of 5,000 nar, which is the local currency of this world. Now that he has all this information out of the way, Itsuki asks the old lady to teach him alchemy. She reveals her name to be Rain Rick, but prefers to be called Beautiful Rain Rick. Itsuki does not care about vanity, so he refers to her as Beautiful Rain Rick and asks her once again to teach him alchemy. The old lady tells our hero that she is not fond of people who change their minds easily, but it does look like he possesses some kind of alchemy skills. First up, she wants to see what Itsuki can do, and she starts with the basics. The idea is to make a beginner-level potion with your own hands, so Itsuki gets down to business. He does not understand why he needs to do this with his bare hands, as he already has the alchemy skill. But Beautiful Rain Rick wishes to see the basics. She explains that Itsuki will be able to use magic instantly, but he may still fail the test. This is why the basics are important to increase the quality of the alchemy. The more you practice, the better, and eventually our hero does end up making a potion. Rain Rick says that such potions can also affect success rates, and then explains the 3 core aspects of alchemy. It is just like what Itsuki has read in manga comics and watched in anime, so it's not that hard for him to get it. Rain Rick adds that Itsuki's body should remember these aspects more than his mind, so he begins with the first aspect, which is disassembly. He is given some mountain ore for this task, and he is able to disassemble it with ease. However, it is not like how Rain Rick wanted it. So she begins a hectic sequence wherein she trains our hero about all the key elements when it comes to alchemy. After tons of intense sessions, Itsuki is at his wits' ends and says that he can't do this anymore as he has no strength left inside him. That's fine by Rain Rick because we see that Itsuki has actually made some really nice potions this time. There seems to be hope for him after all, and then a girl named Rate enters the room. Rain Rick seems to know her well, so she tells her about how Itsuki has run out of fuel and needs to be given something immediately. It's time for a meal, but our hero does not even wait a single second before he completely demolishes the food. Rain Rick comments that this is rude behavior, but she does not mind it as Itsuki did put in his best efforts. Rate offers some tea to our hero, and then Rain Rick declares that she has seen some highlights in Itsuki. However, these are not necessarily positive highlights, as the first thing she says is that Itsuki has a disgusting face, so he should not work here with her at all. Having said that, she adds that she will rent out a room to Itsuki, although this means that he will have to pay for his stay. Luckily for him, Rain Rick states that she will go to the guild tomorrow and sell the potions that Itsuki has made. She will guarantee the quality, and since these potions are low-grade products, there will be an obvious demand for them. Rain Rick asks Itsuki if he would like to make some money, and he says yes without any hesitation. Later, we move outside where we see a thief who has stolen someone's luggage. This thief is a shameless one, as he does not seem to care about hurting people in the process of his stealing. He runs into a couple of cute girls and orders them to move, but they are not going to be brushed aside so easily. These are the same girls in armor that Itsuki had seen earlier, and one of them is a catgirl named Sword. She is told to take the first charge, so she trips over the thief, and then her friend Aina unleashes a finisher move to get the job done. It's an instant win, so Sword congratulates Aina, but she worries if she has overdone it with her finisher move. Sword comments that the thief is still breathing, so it can't really be all that bad. The girls return the bag to the victim, and then the people of the village recognize these girls to be from the Red Front. There is a lot of commotion on the street due to this, and our hero happens to be passing by with Rain Rick. Neither of them knows what's going on, so Rain Rick tells Itsuki that he should take the road towards the Adventurers Guild as she can't afford to stay here any longer. After bidding farewell, our hero finds himself in front of a gate, which is the place that has been rented out for him. Now, Itsuki prepares to live a life of business so that he can make tons of money. The first thing he does is jump into bed because he needs to get some rest after all the work he's just done. Meanwhile, we see Rain Rick, who is sitting with Hayato and having a chat with him. She does not like the moon tonight, but Hayato mentions that it looks just like the night when he first came into this world. Now, the old lady gets down to business and asks Hayato what he wants her to do. It's rather simple, as he only wishes to hand over some money to Itsuki. Rain Rick is puzzled, but Hayato explains that our hero is a nice man and he wishes to show some gratitude to him. Not only does the bag have money, but it can also be used to store potions. Itsuki does this the next day, and he is glad to have received such a tool. He wonders why Hayato did not give him this on his own, but it could be that he is shy. Now, our hero barges into the guild pub, hoping to make some business, but all he sees in front of him is a bunch of drunk and angry men. Everyone stares at Itsuki for a bit, and he does not like it at all, but he knows what he has to do, so he ignores the haters and carries on his way. The men can see his bag, and they comment that Itsuki might be from the Pharma Guild, although he is actually from the Alchemy Guild. Our hero notices a cute girl at the reception, so he figures she would be the best person to help him out here. She is cute and curvy as well, so Itsuki gets a bit distracted by his intrusive thoughts. Luckily, this only lasts for a second, hopefully unlike his elephant, and then he says that he would like to sell all the potions he had made earlier. He would like to buy as much ore as he can from this sale, and we can see that he has actually made a whole army of potions. The reception girl and the other men in the guild are shocked to see so many potions, but for some reason, they believe that these are really expensive. Itsuki does not like the vibe of this place at all, but he stays strong and insists on getting paid. Now, the reception girl, whose name is Ferris, tells our hero that his potions are all low grade, but before she can proceed, a bald man comes to her. He tries to make small talk with her, but then he pushes Itsuki onto his potions, causing all of them to fall to the ground. They are completely ruined now, and it breaks Itsuki's heart to see all his effort gone in vain. The bald man and the other men of the guild mock our hero, instead of showing some concern, and they continue to refer to him as someone from the Pharma Guild. It looks like these people don't like that guild at all, because they tell Itsuki not to go around selling his expensive potions here. Itsuki does not understand what this Pharma Guild is supposed to be, but he does know that he worked really hard to make those potions. He is clearly upset, but the bald man is still intent on mocking our hero shamelessly. He even calls Itsuki a stupid monkey, which is clearly enough to make any man angry. Now, our hero shoves the bald man's hand aside and looks ready to rumble. The bald man is eager to fight as well, and he brings out his sword, which is technically cheating. Ferris tries to stop the fight, but Itsuki is going to make sure he gets his revenge, even though he is at a disadvantage against the Lemonhead. Either way, Itsuki kicks things off with a serious punch, but then he gets blocked by Aina, who has come to break up the fight. She tells both the men to cut it out, and the bald man instantly gets scared of her. Our hero, on the other hand, has no idea who Aina is, and then Sword shows up to tell him he needs to take his hand off Ana's armor. As expected, the armor is quite hard, which is why Itsuki's fist is hurting now. Everyone in the guild announces the girls as the warriors from the Red Front, but even this is not enough to ring a bell for Itsuki. He can only remember Aina and Sword as the cute girls he had seen the other day while exploring the city. Intrusive thoughts occupy Itsuki's mind again because Aina is indeed quite pretty. But then he snaps back to his senses and reveals that he is from the Alchemy Guild, not the Pharma Guild. This comes as a huge surprise to everyone, especially the bald man culprit who tries to defend his actions by pointing towards the bag that Itsuki is carrying. Our hero shows his guild card for proof, and now that he has verified his identity, he has everyone in a state of panic. Aina is the first one to say sorry for what the bald man has done, and she says this was all just a big misunderstanding. She seems really scared about messing things up with the Alchemy Guild. But Itsuki is no pushover, and he says there was no misunderstanding at all since the bald man did not have the brains to check his identity first. Sort gets upset and scolds Itsuki for speaking to Aina so disrespectfully. But this in itself is bratty behavior. Aina tells the catgirl to behave herself, and then she says that she is ready to pay for all the potions that were destroyed. The night girl makes a cute, innocent face and asks our hero if he can forgive her and the guild. Any man would fall victim to such a cute face, even Itsuki. But then we have another twist as Rain Rick enters the scene. Her mere presence is enough to spook everyone out, because she is the top authority of Purgil. Now, Rain Rick says that since these fools have destroyed her products, she is not going to let it slide so easily. Itsuki is still trying to figure how the old lady is such a big deal here. But then she says that she will only talk to the guild master now. As the guild folks go to get the guild master, Itsuki apologizes to Rain Rick for the destroyed potions, but she tells him not to be sad about it. She says that it was not Itsuki's fault, and he should not blame himself for a mistake the bald man made. Rain Rick looks like she is going to have a field day with the people who messed things up for our hero, but he does not understand why she is being so nice to him. Now, the guild master shows up, and the first thing that Rain Rick tells him is that the Alchemy Guild will no longer deal with him. This is the worst possible news that he could have received, and we can see the bald man along with Ferris both looking really sorry. The guild master begs the old lady not to do this to him, because if she stops business with him, then he will have to buy overpriced potions from the Pharma Guild. This explains the hatred towards the Pharma Guild. But the bald man was at fault, so he says sorry for not identifying Itsuki first. Even Ferris pleads with Rain Rick to have mercy, and then Aina also asks for forgiveness. However, the old lady does not care for her status and simply refers to her as Red Hair Girl. Rain Rick repeats that it is due to the stupidity of this guild that her student had to face such an embarrassment after putting his heart and soul into those potions. The old lady has everyone regretting their whole existence. And then she drops another bomb when she reveals that Itsuki has a letter of introduction from Hayato. This is when we learn that Hayato is known as the Dragon Slayer hero in this world, which means that he is the most overpowered person here. Everyone is rendered speechless, including Itsuki, who had no idea that Hayato was like a celebrity in this world. The guild master wants to take corrective action immediately, so he promises to exile the bald man, and he is ready to pay 1,000,000 nar for the potions as compensation. This is a good deal, but Rain Rick behaves as if she needed to hear at least 10,000,000 nar from his mouth. Sort can't keep quiet any longer, so she asks why they have to pay such a huge amount for the potions. Even Itsuki feels that Rain Rick is going too far, but she shuts up Sort by calling her a dog girl, even though her attitude is more suited to a cat. She repeats once again that the guild has messed with her student, who also has the reference of Hayato. Our hero does not know who the victim is now, because Rain Rick is not sparing anyone at all. Things begin to get heated up, so Aina decides to step in and take the fall. She comments that it is a huge amount of money, but she will take responsibility for it. Rain Rick asks her if she is going to pay the money to her, but she says that she does not have so much cash on her. Instead, Aina offers herself up to Rain Rick as a slave girl and promises to make the money to pay her back for this offense. This is a shocker not just to Sort, but to Itsuki as well. Everyone in the guild is speechless at this point, and our hero is only left wondering why it has gone to such an extreme extent. Rain Rick is told to please calm down, but she has no intention of doing so. That's when Itsuki decides to step in. But before that, the bald man asks Aina why she is taking on such a burden herself. He is the one at fault. But then Aina calls him out by asking if he can pay the money back to Rick. The useless Baddie is broke, so he can't do anything about it. But then another man tells Aina that if she becomes a slave, then the reputation of the Adventurers Guild will go down. The night girl disagrees and says that people need adventures in their lives, so by default, the reputation of this guild will remain the same. Ferris gets emotional over this and hugs Aina because she does not want her to become a slave. Even so, the night girl tells Ferris that all will be well, but our hero does not like the look of this at all. He tells Rick that making Aina his slave just feels wrong at this point, but she says that the night girl is just being naive. In the middle of all this, Sort shouts out that she can't accept such a thing. After all, she does not want her closest friend to be made a slave over some potions. Aina explains to her that there's no point in throwing a hissy fit because she has already said that she will become a slave girl. Sort is against it because now she will not have anyone with whom she can go on fun adventures. Aina tells Sort once again that she will be able to take care of herself as she is a night girl. But the cat girl asks who will take care of the people if she is not there. This leads Aina to ask Itsuki for forgiveness, but this has only landed him in a tight spot. After all, he is not used to such situations, so he looks at Rick for some support. The old lady tells him he's on his own here. And then our hero laments why things have become so complicated for him. He just wanted to come to this world to enjoy life and have a harem. But all he's gotten so far is a giant bug monster and a prospective slave, although she does fit his requirements for a harem girl. His intrusive thoughts kick in once again, and they are so shady that they have to be blurred for our safety. The idea of a slave girl is every boy's dream come true. But since Itsuki is a nice guy, he tries to collect himself. Suddenly, he says that he refuses to let Aina become his slave, and she wonders why. Itsuki has given himself a headache now. But he proceeds by saying slavery will not do anyone any good in this situation. He then mentions that Aina was the one who saved him from a mad fight against the Baddie and his sword, so he can't really turn his savior into his slave. Rick is not impressed by how soft Itsuki is behaving, and then he states that even though Hayato has introduced him to the guild, it should not change anything. He will make more potions to make up for the ones he lost today, so it's fine. The smile on his face and his kind nature both appeal to Aina, as she did not expect Itsuki to be so kind. The night girl tries to argue that he should get compensated for what has happened to him, but he maintains that he is all right. Aina then says that a night girl like her will be of great use to Itsuki, but then he says that he does not want a pretty girl like her to become a slave. Hearing our hero call her pretty makes Aina blush, and she is lost for words while Sort watches on in the background. This makes the cat girl jealous and angry, but Itsuki has no idea why she has a problem with it. Rick believes that a girl from the Red Front as a slave would be interesting, but Itsuki tells her no such thing will happen. The old lady suggests using Aina as labor instead of a slave, because Itsuki will need an extra pair of hands to settle down and grow here. Even so, our hero is against the idea, and now Rick is annoyed because he is being a bit too kind. She then decides to ignore whatever Itsuki is saying and orders Aina to show up tomorrow morning. With that, the old lady leaves the scene and takes Itsuki along with her, even though he tries to tell her to take back her words. Everyone at the guild can now reflect upon what they have done. And then we move to the place where Itsuki is staying. He is extremely tired, so he goes to bed immediately, after which he thinks back to how hard today was for him. He wonders if he can live in a place as comfy as this one, but he has no time to waste, so he goes to sleep. The next morning, our hero wakes up and can't feel his arm as something seems to be on top of it. He can also smell something really nice, so he looks around and notices that Aina is sleeping next to him with rather delicate clothing on. He panics upon realizing this, but Aina does not get why he is acting so shocked. Our hero asks the night girl what she is doing here. So she says that Rick told her to cuddle next to Itsuki, as that is what a slave girl should do. Itsuki curses the old lady for pushing Aina into doing shady things with him. But he has to worry about his elephant, which seems to be raising his trunk upon seeing Aina is such a state. Itsuki pulls out his blanket and asks Aina to put her clothes back on. He promises not to look at her anymore, because that could lead to his intrusive thoughts getting the better of him. Aina does not understand why our hero is being so shy, and she asks if there is something wrong with her. Of course, nothing can be wrong with a curvy babe like her, and Itsuki tries to say that, but Aina becomes sad and says sorry for not being good enough. Before Aina can say anything else, Sword somehow breaks into the room and tells her to stop what she's doing. Both Aina and Itsuki are surprised to see her here, and it leads to an awkward silence. The catgirl sees Aina in her delicate state and assumes the worst because she does not have a brain. She proceeds to launch a flying kick attack on Itsuki and knocks him away from Aina. He demands to know why Sword has done such a stupid thing, but she calls him a shady beast. Sword wants to save Aina from Itsuki, but she clearly seems to have completely misread the situation. The catgirl proceeds to attack Itsuki some more while Aina asks her to calm down. Meanwhile, Rick enjoys her tea and simply comments on how it is good to be young. Itsuki really has had an eventful life till now. He passed away, was sent to another world by a goddess, attacked by a giant bug monster, bullied by mistake, and now he has a cute night girl who wants to be his curvy slave. Anyway, after the morning drama gets resolved, our hero sits down for a meal with Aina and Sword. Aina says that they will go to a slave trader after they're done eating in order to get herself assessed. Itsuki is not too sure about this, but the night girl says that it's important to evaluate her worth as a slave girl. She then refers to our hero as master, but he does not like the sound of that word as he is a big softie. However, Aina makes it worse by offering alternatives such as honey, liege, and darling. She then states that even though it's too soon, she can also call Itsuki her precious one. This is a bit much for our hero, but Aina says that her race dictates such a term to be fine for husbands after the girl spends her first night with him. Of course, first night over here refers to shady activities, but Sword can't take it anymore, and she stabs her food with anger. The catgirl says that Aina will not have to do shady things with Itsuki because she will buy her freedom back. As the team walks towards the slave trader's place, our hero asks Sword if she is really serious about buying Aina back. The catgirl says yes without any hesitation, but Aina says doing such a thing would be pointless as her sincerity will not be conveyed. This actually does not matter to Itsuki because he needs the money anyway. Despite this, Aina says that she has made up her mind and will not change it. Itsuki is surprised to see how stubborn Aina is when it comes to her promise, and then Sword says that she will also become a slave girl like Aina. Basically, she does not want Itsuki to lay his hands on her best friend, and it leads to another hilarious moment. Our hero asks Aina if she still wishes to go to a slave trader, and she says yes to her master. Itsuki wonders why Aina is going to such an extent to make up for the potions. She is a good girl for sure, unlike Sword, but Itsuki does not get what she wishes to accomplish by becoming his slave. Meanwhile, at the Adventurers Guild, we see the Baddie and his buddies sitting at their table feeling very gloomy. Ferris walks up to the table and asks the men what's the matter as they have been this way since morning. Baddie tells her that today is the day Aina begins her duties as a slave girl, and it is making him feel guilty about what he did to Itsuki. Ferris says that she gets why he's sulking, but that is not going to help anyone over here. After all, Aina was the one who gave them this place, so Ferris asks the men what they are going to do for her. This makes Baddie and his buddies realize that they need to work hard to pay back what they owe to Rick. With that, they all decide to look out for more tasks so that they can get Aina back sooner than expected. Rick is outside the guild, listening to these people, and she is glad to see them getting motivated. Then, she bumps into an old man from the armor shop with whom she makes small talk. The armor man asks Rain Rick if she has a new apprentice and also wants to know if he is any good. Suddenly, we shift back to our hero and the girls as they stand in front of a rather impressive slave mansion. This is the kind of house you would see with a noble, but the fact that it belongs to a slave trader is quite impressive. Itsuki enters the place and calls out for assistance, after which a cute and curvy babe comes over to attend to him. She is dazzling to say the least, and she asks our hero to follow her, although it takes him a couple of seconds to register how cute and curvy she is. As he sits with Aina and Sort, Itsuki realizes that the inside of this mansion is a lot better than the outside. Now, the slave trader shows up and says that he has heard about Itsuki from Rain Rick. It turns out to be Yassi's from the other day with the catgirl slave, but he acts professional with Itsuki. Itsuki is served some tea, but the only thing he wants served to him are the soft pillows of the girl giving it to him. Our hero admits that Aina is very pretty, but the slave girls here are gorgeous to a whole other level. As a matter of fact, it's almost like torture for him to keep his elephant in check. Now, Yassi's gets down to business and asks our hero if he likes the slave girls serving him. Of course, he says no because he does not want to give the wrong idea to Aina, or even worse, Sort. The name of this immaculate slave girl is Wendy, and Yassi states that she is a product of the company. She greets Itsuki nicely, but he is still trying to figure out how such amazing girls are being kept as slaves in this world. Itsuki can't take his eyes off Wendy, but Sort does not like this, so she pinches him hard. Then, she asks Yassi's if they can get this over with fast. The slave trader is not too impressed by the catgirl's attitude, but business is business, so he says that he will evaluate Aina and Sort as slaves now. He begins by saying both the girls are from the Red Front and in good condition. Sort is surprised because even she is being counted as a slave here. She wants to know why, but Yassi says it's only normal for him to do so because he heard all the details about the slavery contract through Rain Rick. Since the amount is way too big for anyone to cover, Aina will not be able to pay back her dues by working alone. Basically, Sort will be able to ease the burden off Aina if she also becomes a slave. The catgirl agrees to it without much hesitation, which surprises Aina. But then the catgirl says that this way, both the girls will be together all the time. With that, Sort announces herself as Itsuki's second slave, and then Wendy brings the girls to another room to assess them. In the meantime, Yassi's decides to tell Itsuki more about the slaves of this world. There are various types of slaves, with the first type being debt slaves. These slaves are bought and sold for the pure purpose of making and paying money. Then, there are criminal slaves who have to serve others to make up from the crimes they have committed. Then there are special slaves, who are more suited for royal, tribal, or special reasons. In the case of Aina and Sort, they are debt slaves, and then we see Wendy beginning her assessment of the girls. Wendy says that since Aina and Sort are known as adventurers, she can be sure of their combat skills. She then asks the girls if they have any experience in housekeeping, to which they both say no. This is not ladylike, so Wendy proceeds to ask if they know anything about cooking. Even here, Aina and Sort can only do camp cooking and nothing more. Wendy realizes she is not going anywhere with this, so she asks both the girls to take their clothes off. This is alarming to them, but Aina knows her duties, so she proceeds to do as she is told. Sort also does the same thing, and then Wendy decides to check their bodies. She does not need long with Sort, but she makes sure to have her fun with Aina because of her soft pillows. The night girl is a bit taken aback, but Wendy tells her that there are various types of slaves, so if her master wants her to do something shady, then she will have to do as she is told. After all, pleasing her lord will bring her a much higher evaluation. Sort clearly does not like what she is seeing, and then Wendy points out that Aina does not have any experience when it comes to shady acts. Things seem to be getting out of control for both Wendy and Anna, so Sort butts in again and pushes Wendy away. Normally, this would call for punishment, but Wendy is amused by the catgirl and simply comments that she will not bring in any money through her flat body. The catgirl is insulted for sure, but to be honest, she deserves it. Now, we move back to Yasis, who has finished explaining slave contracts to Itsuki. Wendy comes back from her assessment and says that all her work is done. Both Aina and Sort look completely violated, so our hero asks them what happened. He is obviously showing concern, but Aina says that she would not like to talk about it. This gives Sort the chance to act stupid again, and she smacks Itsuki for making Aina blush. It's time for Yasis now to make his own assessments, and he takes a look at the files that Wendy has prepared for him. Aina ticks the boxes of combat and shady activities, but is pretty much useless when it comes to cooking. As for Sort, she is only good for combat and nothing else. By the end of the assessment, Yasis realizes that in essence, both the slave girls are only good for combat and not much else. Aina may have decent stats, but Yasis does not get why Sort is unable to do shady things with her master. Wendy decides to explain this by saying since she is a beast girl, she will take more time to grow to maturity. In other words, she is not of age just yet. Naturally, Sort is embarrassed by this, so she tells Wendy to mind her own business. Wendy does not stop though, and she elaborates further by saying she has inspected more intimate places as well. When it comes to Sort, it was a rather hilarious moment as she had an extremely flat body and would get tickled quite easily. This is why it would be very difficult for a man to touch her. It makes Itsuki laugh because he thought that the catgirl was acting like a wolf, whereas she is actually a dog. Even so, we will continue to call her catgirl because her attitude is of a cat, not a dog. With that, Wendy gives the final amounts of both the slave girls, but they are not a lot. Aina is at a normal price of 600,000 nari, but Sort is at a below par 400,000 nar. Yasis figures it's time to make the contracts now, so he tells everyone to enter the slave circle and put their hands together. They do as they are told, and then Yasis begins the slave process with his magic. An intense beam of light emanates from the joined hands of Itsuki, Aina, and Sort. The surge of energy is a bit too much for all of them to take in, and a crest gets burned into our hero's hand. After the process, Itsuki asks if this slave crest is all he needs, and Yasis says that the contract has been established. Even the girls have the same crest on their hands, and it has been made with a special kind of skill. The contract also does not allow the slave girls to hurt their master, as it is a safety function. Itsuki is glad to hear this, so he calls out to Sort to test it out, but it looks like she has already decided on that before anyone else. The catgirl tries to strike her master with a hammer, but the crest does not allow her to do so, and she goes down on the floor with a severe headache. Yasis tells Sort that if she were to try such a stupid thing, then the crest will give her these headaches again and again. It's a relief for Itsuki, but he can't believe that Sort was already trying to hurt him so soon. He asks the catgirl if she is fine, but she looks at him with an angry face. It does not matter to our hero anymore, and he tells her that if she tries to resort to violence, then it will not go down well for her. The two of them get into a small argument, but Aina finds it entertaining as it looks like they are both having fun. Both Itsuki and Sort insist that this is not the case, after which they leave the slave mansion. Now that everything is done, Itsuki wonders what he and his slaves should do next, but Aina suggests going to the guild first. Itsuki is not sure about this, but he says yes anyway. That night, we move to the city suburbs where Hayato's harem girls are preparing food. He has not come back yet, and the girls are growing restless because they want to eat meat. The problem is that there won't be any meat till the next town, so the catgirl of this harem is upset. She decides to scavenge through the emergency supplies, but is told not to waste those resources. Now, the elf girl of the harem group shows up from her bath and says she wants soup, but is told to put her clothes back on. The elf girl does not care for such things and asks the stuck-up girl how her race is so rigid. Hayato still has not come back, so the girls decide to call Chris, who is also a harem girl. The elf girl then tells the stuck-up girl named Letty that she smells a bit, so she should also take a bath if she wants to impress Hayato. This causes Letty to get angry, but as she chases the elf girl, the cat girl laments that she still has not gotten any meat. Now, we shift to Hayato, who is being watched upon by an owl. He seems to have something on his mind, but then he gets a blanket from Chris, who thinks that he is feeling chilly. Hayato thanks her for the blanket, and it causes Chris to blush. Hayato wonders how Itsuki is doing, but we still do not understand why he is so concerned about our hero. Meanwhile, at the Adventurers Guild, we see Itsuki living life to the fullest by drinking with everyone over there. Even Baddie is there, and he seems to have become friends with Itsuki, after which he and his men apologize to him once again for their misdeeds of the past. This makes Itsuki think back to his time in his original world, and he tells them all to chill. Baddie seems to know that Itsuki is a drifter from another world, and then he tells him that he is looking forward to his other potions. Suddenly, Sort calls out to Itsuki, and she blames him for putting her and Aina in this position. Basically, the cat girl is drunk and Aina is trying to control her even though she has also had a bit to drink. Sort counters her by saying she and Aina will only be toys for Itsuki's amusement now. The cat girl also suggests that our hero is going to misuse his position as their master and do unspeakable things to them. Itsuki has had enough, and since he is drunk, he tells Sort that no one will want to do anything to her flat body. He goes on to call her a stupid dog girl as well, but Sort tells him not to make fun of her for having small pillows. After all, Aina has large and soft pillows, but that only means she has a lot of extra weight to carry around, and it also leads to her armor needing regular repairs. Sort asks Itsuki if he has anything to say now, but since he is drunk, he states that he does not care about what the cat girl is barking as she is his slave now. This offends Sort, but there's nothing she can do about it. Now, Itsuki says that he's sick of this weird relationship he has with his slaves, which is why it would be better for him not to say anything to them. The boys call him over to have another drink, and he happily goes to them because bros before slaves. Now, both Aina and Sort sit like losers at the bar, and the cat girl tells the night girl not to get fooled by what Itsuki tells them. Aina does not seem to care about her words, so Sort complains that she is very simple. With that, the cat girl passes out from all the booze, and Aina says that she might be a simpleton after all. From the looks of it, she seems to have a crush on our hero. And then we see Itsuki celebrating how awesome this world is. One of the boys asks him if he can afford to party like this, but he says that he has it covered because of his skill. Itsuki proceeds to unleash his pocket money skill, and he summons a silver coin into his hands. Of course, he's drunk, so he does not know that he is still at his lowest level and goes on to flex the coin in front of the others. The other men are a bit awkward now as Itsuki has only summoned one silver coin and they don't have any money left. Our hero continues to party like a madman, so Ferris asks if he is okay, but the fiesta rages on till everyone passes out on their tables. Itsuki looks like the most wasted one from them all, but he is conscious enough to think about all the people he has met in this world so far. His new life has been fun till now, and he is looking forward to living it the way he wants to. Some time passes by, and we now see Itsuki entering the guild in the morning and announcing himself as a man from the Alchemy Guild. Baddie and his men are there, and they greet him. But our hero is amazed to see that they have already started drinking again. Baddie says that they don't have any large quests as of now, which is why they are lazing around over here. It turns out that both Aina and Sort have taken all the quests, and this is a good thing for Itsuki, because they help him collect all his alchemy ingredients. Plus, our hero is continuing his classes with Rain Rick when it comes to making potions. As a matter of fact, he has reached the medium-level potion range already, which is a good thing. His levels have been increasing nicely, and he has reached level 6 alchemy as well as level 2 appraisal. He does not need to hurry over anything and can work comfortably at his own pace. Later, Itsuki decides to test out his pocket money skill, so he strikes a dramatic pose and summons a coin. Now that he is level 2, his powers have increased by 10 times. He can now summon a gold coin instead of a silver coin, which is great since one gold coin is worth 100,000 nar. Now that he has the means to afford the nicer things in life, Itsuki decides to go out and enjoy himself. He tells us that ever since he has come into this world, there has been a lot of work for him, especially from Rain Rick, who does not spare him when it comes to making potions. Because of that, he still does not know much about this town, which is supposed to be filled with cute and curvy babes. Itsuki knows that there has to be a spot where he can do shady things with girls at the right price, so he decides to explore the services that are available over here. On that note, he sets out to enjoy his biggest feast yet. But what about his slave girls? After all, Aina can do whatever he wants her to do, but maybe he is feeling shy about it. Also, what is the deal with Hayato? And what kind of life is Itsuki actually going to live in this new world? Like, share, and subscribe if you liked this video, and let me know in the comments if you want me to continue the story. Show enough love, and that will definitely be the case. Okay then, I'll see you in the next one.